Alright guys, welcome back to another Fortnite video, and in this one, this is going to be another update news video. We've got some interesting things to talk about. Granted, this video is going to be a little bit shorter than the other ones just because, you know, it's the New Year's, it's the holidays. I think Epic Games is finally finishing up their break that they took. That's why we didn't have any huge updates. We had a couple of small, like, content updates and stuff like that, but still, we have a ton to talk about. I'm talking about maybe Keven returning, a clue towards that. Some changes to Polar Peak that just revealed something really cool, as well as some other changes and things. Just a bunch of update news in today's video. It's going to be a ton of fun. So yeah guys, if you do enjoy today's video, be sure to hit that like button down below. Always helps me out a ton, and I seriously do appreciate it. And also comment, what are your thoughts on the boombox? Do you want them to keep it in the game, or do you want them to take it out? One of those two options, and maybe explain why. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say about that new item. And also guys, thank you to all of you who have been using my supporter creator code TheLlamaSir in the item shop. There's been some interesting items lately, like DJ Bop. Definitely an interesting item, but thanks to you guys who have been using that code. But yeah, let's jump right into it here. Let's talk real quick about the 2019 event. That is right guys, the New Year's event. It was happening every hour. I tweeted about it so you guys knew to check it out. And it may have seemed straightforward at first, but there's actually a huge secret about it that you probably didn't even notice. It's like pretty hidden actually. But if you missed it, you weren't in game, or you were, you know, hanging out with family as I was. However, I did get a little bit of time to check it out. There was this crazy event with like a disco ball falling from the sky with like a countdown for New Year's. As you know, it happened every hour because of different time zones. So people, you know, were reaching the New Year's at different times. But this event was a ton of fun. Everybody would be dancing. I happened to be just gliding in the air. But the disco ball went down, then like a ton of fireworks went off, and then it ended with a big like loot llama firework, and also a 2019, as you can see. So that by itself was a ton of fun, really cool event. And also, if you take a look at the disco ball, this was pretty interesting, and you can check this out yourself as long as you have a replay saved of it. Of course I did, so I went into game and checked it out, as you can see, and there are some interesting things that can be revealed if you go into a replay. But if you take a look at the disco ball, take a picture of it when it's actually coming out of a rift, and that by itself is super interesting that it's coming out of a rift. I don't know if that has to do with the story by itself, but yeah, if you take a picture of the disco ball when it's darker, and then you know, brighten it up a little bit, up the contrast, you can actually see that there are runes on the side of it. That is right guys, there are runes. It's crazy. So here's a picture of mine with, you know, the contrast and stuff up so you can see it a little bit clearer. I don't know if the event always happened at nighttime in the game, but it makes it a little bit harder to see unless you bump up those settings. And don't those runes kind of look familiar? That is right guys, they look very similar to the ones that Keven was laying down around the map. And as you saw from the title of the video, there's some interesting things about the possibility of Keven maybe returning. This isn't the main thing I want to talk about. There's another thing that was found that we need to go over later in the video, but this by itself is very interesting, that on the side of the disco ball during this event they decided to put these runes on there. Like, why would they decide to do that? Is the disco ball from the dimension that, you know, Keven teleported us to? I don't exactly know, but it's something to take note of for sure. They did this on purpose, but we don't exactly know why quite yet. But yeah guys, keeping it going here with the next thing I want to talk about. Let's talk about dragon eggs. That is right guys, dragon eggs. This is gonna be, I don't know, this is gonna be crazy for the story, but yeah, there are dragon eggs on the map that you can see. As you can see right here in this clip, this is how, if you want to go and see them, this is how you do so. You do want to go over to Polar Peak. As you guys know, it's been melting and changing a ton, but recently it revealed something awesome. So if you go over there, you can go one of two ways. The first of which is a little bit tougher, but it's still kind of interesting to see. You go in through the entrance, then down the stairs, jump over the edge, and then if you break through this wall right here, as you can see, there's a hidden little area back here that's slowly being revealed more and more as the ice shrinks. Now after that, you can then go around, you know, explore that a little bit. There's nothing here as of right now, but if you continue to break through the floor, as you can see, there's another area to explore that is like these dungeon cages type things. I don't know what you want to say. It's a bunch of things you could call them. But then if you keep going back, you can find these dragon eggs laying on the ground. That is right guys, as you can see them in all their glory. They are pretty crazy. Now thanks to Mellow Dinosaur on Reddit for pointing this out, that they're actually here now. But as you can see, they are dragon eggs. There's like a little silhouette of a dragon, and also I believe you can maybe hear a heartbeat. I heard some people talking about that, but I wasn't really able to do so. Maybe it doesn't happen in 50v50 where I decided to check this out, but if that does happen, maybe we'll have to put it in a spectrogram and see if we can find any clues or things like that. But it definitely is, you know, something to do with the story. I don't know if we're going to be getting dragons like flying around the map. Maybe there's like a new vehicle that that we can ride that are like dragons. It could be super cool. And also there is a easier way to get to these. You simply go through the cave on the back of Polar Peak. That's definitely a shorter way to do so, but yes, we're gonna have to explore these more and more as more of the ice, you know, starts to shrink. But if you guys have ideas as how this could affect this story, leave them down below in the comments. I'm curious to see what you guys say. But keeping it going here with a change to the map. There's been a couple of changes to the map, but this one, it isn't the newest one, but I still wanted to include it in this video because I'm sure a lot of you haven't, you know, checked it and don't know that it's actually changed. So don't worry, we got a bunch of other fun stuff coming up as well, but still, this one is cool because it's a change to the block. Yeah, they recently updated it, and I know some of you don't always land here. I know when I played some squad games with my friends, we didn't go over here, so we never saw that it actually changed recently, but yeah, it's this like new little town, which is pretty nice. I don't know who built this. I don't know if Epic Games has announced who built it. Maybe they have, and I just don't know where to look, but whoever built it did a good job. As you can see, it's again this nice little town. It's got the clock tower in the center, got some trees around it for some decent amounts of mats that you could get from it. The previous one didn't really have that many mats. I dropped there a couple of times, but yeah, this one is pretty cool. I'm sure it's got some good chests, some good loot to get, and you might as well check it out because it is a new little addition to the map. I do definitely like the block. I've stopped working on mine, but maybe I gotta continue. I feel like it's good enough to maybe get in here. And then after that, guys, let's talk about like when we could possibly expect the next update. We talked about this a little bit in my previous update video, and it did turn out that we got the update on Sunday, and it was a content update. That was what I was expecting, you know, a smaller little update on Sunday since they're still, you know, on holidays, Epic Games. But yeah, so when can we expect the next update? Obviously, we didn't get an update today, which is Tuesday, so that means most likely I would assume that they're going to be going back to their normal update times on next Tuesday, and I would expect that to be a bigger update since we haven't had a huge update in a while, obviously, and that would mean that it could likely be the 7.20 update. Now, we could also maybe get another, you know, mini content update on Sunday, but that just seems a bit unlikely. I think they would go back to the regular schedule now that the holidays are over, so that is my guess personally. Could change, and nothing's confirmed about that since the updates have been all over the place recently, but I think it's likely. And then after that, guys, for a quick little piece of update news before we get into the final stuff with Keven possibly returning, but there's been a couple of little changes to creative. So if you go into creative mode, guys, and check out, you know, whatever island you want to go to, let's just go to the Arctic one to showcase this off. But then if you go into the items that you can use, you can see that there are some new prefabs right there. Now, they are the like Polar Peak inspired prefabs, so I don't know, if you want to build a castle, you can definitely do so, but there's a bunch of them here you can choose from, and what's interesting about them is they're buildings that we've never seen before. The other prefabs, I believe, are generally, if not most of them, are buildings that are actually like on the main Battle Royale map, but these ones, obviously, they aren't. I think like the main castle might be one. Yeah, there's one that's like the main castle, but a bunch of the other ones are not ones that are on the map right now. Like, as you can see, they are pretty crazy, and you could definitely build some fun stuff with them, so be sure to check that out, guys. That is in creative. Definitely pretty interesting overall. But then, guys, let's move on here to what I really want to talk about, and that is the possibility of Keven returning. So this sort of builds on the disco ball stuff that we just talked about, but adds another layer to it that I find pretty interesting. And I'm surprised nobody's really brought this up earlier, but apparently there's a little bit of something interesting that we need to take a look at in the main menu. So first of all, thanks to user TriggyRD on Reddit for pointing this out. I believe it's been in the game actually for a while, but this is the first time I've seen somebody talk about it, and when I took a look at it myself, I do find it very, very odd. But yeah, what I'm talking about here, if you go into the main menu and take a look behind your character, you'll see this fairly flat line. Now, that by itself doesn't seem too interesting, you know, and that's, I think, why not many people are talking about it, because you actually have to use an emote to move your character to fully see what's there. So as you can see, when I use an emote to, you know, move my character, there seems to be maybe Keven the Cube back there. I don't know, guys, but just take a look at this. It definitely is something out of the ordinary. It doesn't fit in with these snowy mountains. It's very clearly some flat lines that meet in like a point, which could definitely be the point of a cube. On top of that, guys, also take a look at the color compared to the other mountains. It's clearly darker and could even possibly be like a dark purple, similar to what Keven was. So with that being said, since it's darker than its surroundings, since it's a lot different, it's flatter and has like sharp edges, there's a possibility that it could be the cube. But that then begs the question, why would it be there? Is Keven the Cube maybe returning later in the season? Nobody really knows yet, but especially with the stuff with the disco ball having the runes on it, also the color color of it seemed to be similar to Keven. Also, it came out of a rift. There's just some peculiar things. So I don't know, maybe Keven wasn't the only Keven. Maybe this is Keven v2, and it's going to have something to do with the story. Either way, guys, leave your ideas down below in the comments. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. But other than that, that is going to be it for today's video. It is a little bit of a shorter one, but still some fun stuff to talk about. So be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Check out some of my previous videos on the screen now, such as on the left, going over some theories about the snowfall skin and a possible underwater portion of the map. And then on the right, some more update news that you may have missed. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one.